Hey folks, Tom Norfleet with www.citizenshipquickly.com. Got some really good ways to help you save literally thousands and thousands of dollars on a concept you probably never thought about. We used to do this for years. It will cut back literally thousands of dollars on your life insurance cost if you're carrying life insurance. And it'll also allow you to get a free medical. In fact, not just a free medical, but a super duper free medical that normally it will examine and do things that normally your regular medical won't do. Let me give you an example how it works. Let's look at the insurance part. Most people are carrying whole life, universal, or what's called variable life or universal life. And the cheapest way I can tell you, I was in the business for years. I sold it for many, many years. But most agents won't sell term insurance. The reason they don't, there's no money in it. The agents, when they sell insurance, they get paid based on what is paid in the first year. Obviously, term insurance, you pay a lot less in premium each year than you do whole life, universal, or variable life, because almost all the money that you pay out the first year goes out in commissions. I had some contracts that paid me 123% of what was paid in the whole first year. No joke. I mean, I had some real good contracts. But now I'm on the other side of the fence. What I'm doing is showing you as an advocate how to get your costs down as low as possible. And I started realizing that that was not the best way to go. That was one of the reasons I got out of the business. A lot of insurance agents try to show you the tax advantages of whole life or variable life or universal life versus buying term insurance. If you strip it apart, look at it carefully, you know what you're doing, you're a lot better off buying cheap term insurance, take the difference and go into an index type fund, whether it's the Hang Seng or S&P 500 index, and then dollar cost it, hit it every single month, the same amount that you're investing. Let me tell you why it's a lot cheaper. Don't even go with level term insurance. Go with what's called an ART, an annual renewable term, which is hardly ever sold. And the reason is it's the least amount of commission that's ever paid out. And what it is if you take a level term, let's say of $100,000, let's say if you're paying $500 a year for a level term that runs for 20 years, and then you look at an ART, annual renewable term, which the premium goes up typically every year. Well, you might pay only $100 a year instead of $500 a year on an ART. Now, it goes up every year, and by the 20th year, if you add up all 20 years on an ART versus a 20-year level, typically an ART is going to be more expensive over 20 years. But no one ever carries insurance for 20 years. Most people switch it every 2 to 3 or 4 years because traditionally insurance costs have come down dramatically over the last 40, 50 years. So what you want to do is that if you want a way where you can save literally thousands of dollars and get a free medical, what you do, you got to fight agents to do it, because most agents are not going to want to sell you an ART. They might tell you they're going to sell it, but then when they come in, they're going to try to put you on a permanent program like whole life, universal, variable life, or even level term, because the commission on that's higher than an ART. Tell them, no, I want the cheapest ART, and I'm going to look at your rates and I'm going to shop around. And most of your rates for your real cheap term, you can actually go online. This way you're not getting hassled from other agents. And pick the cheapest term that you can. And you might want to check with several companies, because although a company might have a cheaper term, they might not cover you because of some health issue, but another company might cover you. I've had this happen tons of times. They might look at your condition not quite as bad as another company would look at it. So get 3 rates, but then you can go and get 3 medicals. And you would have to get 3 medicals for this. Somebody will meet you at your house. But this is the key. Number one, you could be spending thousands of dollars a year for a whole life or universal or variable life. And now in an ART, you're spending almost nothing. Now you've cut back your insurance costs dramatically, and then take the difference between what that ART cost is and then what your whole life, universal, variable life is. Take that, put an index fund, okay? And that's what I would try to do. Now, this is true. I don't care which country you're living in, okay? And as far as the tax part goes, you need to look at our website to show you about. I'm not going to get into the tax part because you can see that in other videos. But your best way to go on taxes is explained in our videos on taxes. You'll learn about that. Not traditionally the IRA route or SEP or 401k or whatever route you're taking there. There are other options where you can save a lot more in taxes, but it's being done internationally. But you need to look at the videos and see the difference in how it's explained to you on that. So basically, this works better for someone that's actually not a U.S. citizen or someone that's thinking about getting out of their U.S. citizenship, pretty much for sure, okay? But the cost on the term, it won't make any difference whether you stay a U.S. citizen or you're not. I'm talking about the tax part. The term insurance cost won't, and it's going to be cheap no matter where you're at, okay? I'm talking about the tax difference because you're going to be viewed different if you're a citizen of the U.S. or a tax resident of Germany or France or versus being out of that tax situation. All right, how can you get free medicals, okay? If you go in and get a basic free medical and you tell your doctor, I want to get a regular checkup for medical, what you're going to find out is he's not going to really check you over as good as a life insurance company. Let me give you an example of a client that I actually did a case on years ago. This lady came in and we set her up on a term insurance program, and I told her she needed to take a medical, and she says, well, Tom, I just had a full medical. Everything was fine. I says, well, you got to take another one because the life insurance company will check you out a lot better. They're going to run A, B, and C, hepatitis A, B, and C. They're going to check for all social diseases. They're going to look for AIDS. These are things, if you go in for a regular medical, the doctor doesn't check you for all these things, okay? These are extra tests you have to order. The reason insurance companies order this, if you die, you can die from hepatitis, okay? B or C, it can lead to liver cancer, cirrhosis of the liver, or if you die from these disorders, I mean, hepatitis leads to these deaths just like AIDS does. And so even if you've had a test for a regular medical, these tests typically are not done. These are extra tests that have to be done. So she said, okay, I'll go ahead and take these tests. Well, make a long story short, I had a notice that came back that this lady got turned down. And had a hard time getting it from the insurance company. I won't mention the company because they weren't really supposed to give me this. But they mentioned that this person got turned down because they had hepatitis C, okay? And I actually asked the client if it would be okay to ask the insurance company, what it was, and I basically asked her first before I did this, and she said it was okay to do it because she wanted to find out real quick why she got turned down, and it was hepatitis C. And she said, I don't understand why my medical at the doctor's office didn't pick this up. I said, the reason is you didn't order this. Regular medicals don't pick this up. So not only would you get a lot better medical each year than a regular medical, but you'd also get it for free, okay? And if you got all these tests like hepatitis A, B, and C, and you had an AIDS test and no telling what other tests that you had done, to check, because I mean, there's all kinds of extra tests that you can do that a regular medical won't cover, then, the insurance company is going to pay for it. And literally, you can shop for an ART, a cheaper annual renewable term each year to try to beat the rate you had the last year. Because remember, that ART is going to go up every year. So if you don't switch out of it while you're in good health, then that rate's going to go up every year. So you have an incentive not only to keep your rates down low, you might find something cheaper the next year than what you had that same year, the prior year. But what you're doing is you're getting a free medical, complete medical every single year. Man, that can save you a lot of money. And you remember, this is not a regular medical. This is a Catalyte medical. They're checking you for everything, man, because the insurance company knows they don't want to be paying out any death claim. Okay, they're trying to take you out. They're trying to take you as a healthy person, and they're going to check you over tooth and nail that a regular medical wouldn't check you over with. So you're getting a real Cadillac medical each year, the insurance company's paying for it, okay? So you're able to get your insurance rates cut back, and you're going to see a big reduction if you're switching from whole life, universal, or variable life back to a cheap ART. And then each year you can shop for the ART to even cut it back cheaper. We used to do that for years and get a free medical, okay? Insurance companies, I mean, this competition, they pay for the medical. They take the chance if you don't get the insurance, it's a loss to the insurance company. They know that. They know that there are people that apply for insurance, that they pay for the medical, okay? And there's some people that don't get the insurance. And that's a cost factor they figure in everything else, along with mortality cost and everything else, in figuring your cost, okay? This is how they figure out what the rates are every year, is based on, how many people did they do medicals for that didn't get insurance. That's a cost factor, okay? You can benefit from that. Most people don't know they can do that. Man, that saves you a lot of money getting free medicals every year, and then cutting back, the possibility of cutting back on your insurance costs, and it's going to be a bomb buster. The first year, if you got whole life or universal life and you're switching back to that cheap little ART where you're almost paying nothing on it, but you're going to have to fight through a lot of agents. That's why I say do it online. This way you don't have somebody beating your door down trying to just nag you to death. I hope you learned something on this today, because that can save you a fortune, folks. I can't begin to tell you. And let me add one other thing to this. Folks, if you've got your debts paid for, okay, if you've got your house paid for, if you've got at least, let's say, $2 million US saved up, most health insurance programs have $1 million cap on them. Some of them have $2 million cap, but most of them that we used to sell had $1 million to $2 million cap. That means after that cap was hit, insurance company wouldn't pay out any more money for that. If you've got a lot of assets, my advice is don't carry any type of insurance. Become your own insurance company. You know what's funny is, think about this. Why is it insurance companies will take a risk on you, but you won't take a risk on yourself? You know that only 2% of the population carry their life insurance to death with them? That means 98% of the time the insurance company is going to win on you. I think I'd rather go to Las Vegas and play with their odds than playing with that odds. That's why insurance companies make so much money. Most people, either by the time they have died, they've either gotten out of their insurance, they either cashed out of it, or this is what happens in most cases. They've gotten out of the insurance by the time they die, or they just but this is predominantly the reason that most people don't have life insurance at the time they pass away. So my suggestion, and also homeowners insurance. Most people don't ever collect on homeowners insurance. Disability is the same way. If you've got a lot of assets built up, I'm not saying if you're broke or you got a little bit of assets, because what happens if you're, if you've got children, you got a house payment and all this, and then you die, and then your wife can't make the payments, and then all of a sudden there's a foreclosure on the house and your wife loses the house. I'm talking about people who are financially independent. Don't carry insurance. You be your own insurance company and take those thousands of dollars that you're paying for insurance and invest it in an index fund. That is the best way to go. And keep these brokers out of the picture. Learn how to take your money, every single dime of it, and invest it. Okay? Get away from things that are not making you money. Insurance companies know that most of the time they're going to make mega bucks off you. The odds of you collecting, even on health insurance, because think about this here too for a minute. When you buy a health insurance program, they are taking a risk that you got health problems. You know a lot better about your situation health-wise than the insurance company does, okay? Because you know what your health is. Insurance company can only go by medical records that they pull out, okay? That's all they can go by. And it's funny how people will take this risk on themselves. But, it's funny how insurance companies will take the risk on themselves against you, but you won't do it on yourself. And the problem with this is people lose so much money on this, and if you look around, the insurance companies have to pay out commissions, They got to pay if if it's life insurance, a death claim, they've got to take a chance on that. But just think about this in life insurance. Do you know that in a lot of cases in life insurance, 100% of what you pay in the first year goes out in commissions? I had some contracts that were 123% of what was paid in the first year. That means you've got to carry more than 1 year just to pay back my commissions. And the point I'm trying to make here is when you add together all these costs that the insurance company has to obtain, and the fact is also that you might die. They might have to pay out $500,000 if you die in the next year and they've collected almost nothing. Isn't it funny how they'll still take that risk and they make megabucks off of you? That's because they know they've checked you out health-wise. They have mortality charts that show exactly how many people are supposed to die each year, even people who they brought in that's healthy, because the people that are unhealthy, they're not going to accept those people, whether it's health insurance or life insurance. Typically, if it's health insurance, they might rate you up. If it's real bad, they'll refuse you. Life insurance is the same way. But the insurance company does this based on, they're still going to try to make money on you. Do they win all the time? No, but I'll tell you this, they win most of the time. And if that's the odds that you're looking at, why don't you step in those shoes instead of letting the insurance company make megabucks off your money? I'm just trying to tell you how to make money, and instead of letting the insurance company take your money and make tons of money off your money, why don't you do the same thing? And but like again, if you don't have a lot of assets built up, you need time to build that up so you can be your own insurance company. You need to know that if your house has a catastrophic event and is torn down, you have plenty of money to build it up and not really suffer that much. Okay, if you have $1 million health bill, and you have to pay that $1 million out. If you got extra money after that, there's plenty of money left. Those are the people I'm talking about that should be getting out of their insurance payments. If you're not doing it, you're crazy, because you're losing long term. And insurance companies use this fear factor trying to make people buy insurance, whether it's health insurance, life insurance, homeowners insurance. Folks, be your own insurance company. I hope you learned something today. If you want more videos, hit the subscribe button to the right of your screen. Also, if you want to get your taxes to zero or close to zero, visit our website. Folks, if you got a tax issue, we can show you how to get it down to almost nothing. Look at our YouTube videos, visit our website, look at our stuff on prenuptial agreements. Man, we can save you a fortune on that. We'll show you all kinds of problems that people have with prenuptial agreements. That they don't think about ahead of time. Their lawyers screw up sometime, or they never get a prenup agreement. Look at our stuff on prenup agreements. Man, we can save you a fortune on things and concepts like this. If you got a question or comment, hit the comment section below. Look forward to talking to you on our next video. Take care. Bye.